This is Dan with TrueNorthMotos. Today we're going to go over our XCW FE. This will also work with an XC, SX, any of the motocross bikes with our other harness. But basically the install and how the plugs go and how you should lay it out on the bike. This is our 2020 500 XCFW, so this bike did not come with, it came with lighting, but it didn't come with a high-low or brake light, anything for turn signals. Basically on any of these bikes, you're going to get a on and off light switch, so a push-pull. So this is going to be with your 2-strokes, you know, the XCW, the FE non-street legal 4-strokes are all going to have this push-pull. So let's kind of go over this kit is partially installed right now, so we're going to go over the bench and we'll discuss kind of some of the stuff you'll see in this kit. Right here, this harness is your main turn signal harness. So this is off of a 500 EXC, so this is a factory KTM harness. This is the back end of the harness. So this is going to intercept to go to your tail light, and these are going to be your turn signals in the back of the bike. This we don't use. It's there if you wanted to use it. This is for a tail light, or excuse me, a license plate light bulb. We don't use those on our kit. We use the tail light to illuminate the license plate. So this is your rear brake pressure switch. This will replace the banjo bolt that goes into your rear brake master cylinder. This is one of our adapters. So this is going to go down to your rear brake pressure switch. Excuse me. This end right here is going to go onto your existing harness where the taillight plugs into. This end is going to plug into the turn signal harness. And then this will now plug into your tail light. What this will achieve is you're pulling power to give power to your turn signals, and you're pulling power to give power to a rear brake light. Then it runs through your turn signal harness, and then now you have a 3-pin connector that goes into your tail light, giving you a running light and a rear brake light. These are the turn signals that you will see in our kit. They are plug and play, lock washer. On the headlight mask, there's already spots drilled for them. They bolt right on. This is just a little locating pin to keep them aimed right. On the rear of the bike, if you are running these signals, it's very tight, but they will mount right here, and you'll have to drill through and drill a little hole for the locator. We are going to be offering smaller LED lights in the future, as well as a replacement tail light that'll have integrated blinkers inside of it, so you're not breaking, you know, your turn signals off on trail rides. We'll also be offering in the future the smaller LED lights from us to go on here, but also be working with Moto Co. to do their fork wrap LED lights, which will be plug and play with this kit. So you'll also get in the kit is this CV switch, which comes assembled. You just have to disassemble the bottom part and mount it onto your bar. This is already mounted. So with this switch, you have horn, you have headlight off, low, high. You also have a kill switch. Now you can delete your old kill switch if you like, which the harness is in there for the kit, and I will show you that in a minute. Or you can leave the old one and plug this one in as well. We like to get rid of it to free up space on the bars. I don't need 2 kill switches on the bike. Your turn signals down here. So we'll go up front and show you this stuff. So this is what you're going to see coming off of your switches. So this is your turn signal right here. This will plug into the turn signal harness once it's routed on your bike. This plug is for the multi-switch on the top. This adapter that we send has already been installed, but this is it. So the other part of the plug on a lot of these XCW models, TE models, fits right in here and clips in. So we've already done that. We've routed this harness down through here. And these, what this does, this is your factory headlight plug. This will plug in like so. This will plug into your new headlight. And what that does is it now has high, low. What it also does is it has this red wire here coming off of it, which is a constant power. So on my bike, I run the Moto Minded Epic kit. Highly recommend it because it doesn't use a dimmer. So on low beam, you have your S2 Pro on, and on high beam, you have both lights on. Now this isn't achievable unless you have it wired to this constant power, because when you cycle from low to high, it would turn off the top light. So we wired this in as well if you want to run a dual light setup on the front from Moto Minded. Excuse me. So at the front end of the harness, these are your turn signals. This is going to be for your flasher relay, which will come in the kit as well. This is the one that plugs into the turn signal kit that we just talked about in the front. So I can pick this up and show you. It's going to go right to here. This is another option if you want to run it. This is on the EXC bikes. They have a flasher indicator. Now, I've installed one on this with the Highway Dirt Bikes handguard kit. If you don't have Highway Dirt Bikes handguard kit, the bike will not have a spot to install this lens. So it does not come in the kit. If you want to go that route, feel free to reach out to me. We can make sure that you get that in your kit. So now, every bike is going to be slightly different on how you route your harness. I've done a lot of 2020s recently. This is the best way that I like to do them. So, back of the harness. It's right here. This is your front. This needs to be under the headlight. 2020s have these nice wiring routers. They actually made these wires longer so they don't pinch. So this is a nice add-on for the new bikes. So as you can see, I've unhooked that, unhooked this, I've pulled my throttle cables out of the way, and I've taken the screw out of this so I can access this to route the wires. So we're going to feed these up to the front, pull this back, we're going to get it down in there, those wires. You're going to want to leave everything loose until you have it routed and you got enough room for everything. So now we're going to come under here. We're going to take everything, route it up under the frame. You can pull the rest, that'll go back to your tail light. This will tuck into here. I like to come down and keep this under the ECU, which I have pulled out of the way. This is your tip over sensor, sits right in there. I've pulled this out of the way for right now. So now what you want to do is you want to get these down into this side of the airbox. So it's kind of a tight fit, so you kind of do one plug at a time. Get those through. Now you can work this part of the harness. This is going to go all the way back to your tail light once you drop the back of the bike down, or the back of the fender down, excuse me. So now that we have this in here, you can see this is kind of where you're going to hide everything. I have a Cyclops relayed harness on this. We sell these as well. It's great for heated grips, aftermarket lighting. We have a USB charger up here. So this is your factory tail light. So we're going to unplug that. Get those plugs free. Okay? So turn signal harness is going to plug into your factory tail light. Now this is the TrueNorthMotos adapter to give power to your turn signals and to give power to your rear brake light. So this needs to be fed up through the same spot, just like that. And this is going to come down and drop down right here, and it'll meet up with your rear brake pressure switch. So this was off your main harness here. You can see there's only 2 plugs, and there's only 2 plugs on that one. That's how you can definitely tell that you're getting the right one. So you plug that in, and that tees in between the turn signal harness and your tail light. Once that is done, you can stuff them back up in here. I have a rack on this bike at the moment, so it's not quite as easy to get the side panel off, but if you don't have one, since you have your seat off already and your tank off, this one bolt, you can slide the panel forward and pop it off, and there's a place to zip tie all these connectors right up here to keep them out of the way for your air filter service. These are going to run back along here once you drop your back fender, and there's a spot for them to run all the way out for your turn signals. There's a spot in there, a channel in there to run the wire there. On the KTM turn signals, my trick to remembering, red is not right. So red is always the left signal, green is always the right signal on KTM bikes and Husqvarna bikes. So we'll leave that there. On this side over here, to install this, we're going to need to remove your frame guard. So we'll pause for a second while I take this apart. Alright, so now we have frame guard out of the way, access to the banjo bolt for your rear brake. So we are now going to install the rear brake pressure switch. This is a 12mm. I cleaned this all up with brake cleaner prior to doing this because you don't want to get dirt into your brake fluid. I'm going to reuse these copper crush washers. Take the bolt out, get that off of there. The one copper crush washer on the top. Put this through. Wipe some of the dirt off of there. Okay. Put the copper crush washer on the bottom. Now, get this started. Oh, one step I forgot. So on the switch, you can pull this wiring cover up and slide it up and out of the way, because it's important when installing this to not twist the wires. So you want to spin this wire while you're threading this into here. Okay, just like that. Keep it spinning, that way you don't twist the wires up and break them. Now we're we're close to seated. So this is a 14mm wrench on the new pressure switch. What you want to do, this fits perfectly over this plug, the box end. Get it down, watch your wires. And before you go to tighten this, you want to put a little bit of pressure on your rear brake. That way you don't have any air in your system. And at the bottom you'll see some brake fluid coming out there. So don't push it all the way down, just a little bit of pressure until you see brake fluid coming out of there. And you hold it there. And you snug this up. And what this allows it to do is purge any air that's going to be in there from when you disconnected your brake line. That way you don't have to re-bleed your brake system. So now that we got that tight, I'm going to double check my torque one more time. It's plenty. We can now position this. So on this one, you'll see the best routing. I haven't done a 2024 stroke yet. So I think it might be back, honestly, this way and underneath the header, and I'll go to this brake line down here to keep it safe. And then we'll come up. So this is now going to connect to this right here, and that's the adapter from before. So what you're going to want to do after that is just use a couple small zip ties. But you probably only really need maybe 1, 2 right here to hold this down and out of the way. You just want to make sure that you're far enough away from your exhaust where you're not going to burn through your wires. And then also on some bikes, this is a PDS bike, so the shock is further away, but a linkage bike, the shock's going to be a lot closer. So make sure that the wires aren't going to get pinched in your spring while you're riding. And that is how you install that. Use a little bit of brake clean. We'll clean up that brake fluid that spilled out. There you go. The rear brake pressure switch is good to go. So when I was talking about using the kill switch off of the CV switch, this is the harness that's already on the bike. It's just one ground wire from one end to the other. And where you're going to plug that in is right here. This is a connector off of your CV switch. And it runs down this side of the bike. I like to zip tie it in these lines right here, and then there's a connector right here. So if you remove your stock kill switch, this will be plugged in, and the stock kill switch will have a ground going on. So you'll take the ground off, unplug it, remove your stock kill switch assembly, and then use this wire to connect where the old kill switch was, and then up to your new CEV switch. So this is a overview video for installation on our XEW TE lighting kit. As mentioned earlier in the video, it'll work on the SX and XC models that don't come with a headlight or a tail light. If you buy our other lighting harness for that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me, reach out on Facebook, or call me directly. My phone's on the website. Enjoy.